Hi, Carol here, and welcome to my craft room. I haven't put out a video in some time here, and I thought today would only be fitting to show you the style card that I am preparing and that I think everybody would like to know how I came to doing this one. I haven't seen anybody do this particular card, but I did go on Split Coast Stampers and Beata. Now, you know, that kind of times it back. I don't even know how long ago. She did a window frame card. And so I watched the video, and then in Carol form and fashion, I fashioned it to how I wanted to do my card. So I'm going to show you what I came up with. First of all, I had to roll my runner. I have a long Ranger mat, the length of my desk. I ordered them like in lengths. So I had to roll it back because we're going to do some cutting on your cutting mat. Make sure you don't have that down. I made the mistake and I have a cut somewhere up there that I turned it around so you couldn't see it. So I couldn't see it. What I'm working with, what I want to show you here is the strength of board that I'm using for my card. So you have, let's see, you have normal pound craft cardstock. This is probably, I'd say, 65 pound. It's not really that strong. It possibly could be 80 pound craft cardstock, but it was too flimsy for me to work with because of the embellishments that I'm going to put on it. So you can go that route. You can go that route, but I wanted something. This is kind of like a cereal box, I would say, consistency. If I was going for weight, I would probably say somewhere, if Gina K is 120 pounds, this would probably be 200. It is a really firm, you can see it. And this is actual card stock, like cardboard that you, when you're making your albums, these are the ones that I order. I order them in white and craft, and there's hardly any bend to these whatsoever. So really, this is middle ground, this card that I'm using. And I wish I could link where I bought these. I bought them in bulk. As I do, if you can get it less expensive, you might as well buy it in bulk, right? But I'll have to look that up and see if I can find where I got that. So, and truly, I only have a few sheets left, so I really do want to find where I got this, and then I will link it. So I took out, this is what you'll need if you want to do the card that I'm doing. This is that gate you buy at Michael's. I love this stuff. Every time I'm in there, I get a package, because if you do any type of vintage or shabby chic, gates are always, you know, awesome to use. And because I'm doing my large project that I'm undertaking with the canvas that is 16 by 22 inches or 24 inches, it is recessed with glass, though, with a glass frame. And so I wanted to do a recessed card. So I'm going to use my picture as an example because I don't want to show the My Bestie stamps that I am going to reveal on my guest spot pretty soon. So I will continue to use this little cutie wootsy image. And I'll link for sure how to get to Sherry Baldy's store. And you do want to go there and order because you will be hooked. And if you put your special 50, it's 50% off. I mean, for digis, it's awesome because what I did, I have never bought a digi before until I met up with these stamps by Sherry Baldy. And what I really like about it is you can size them. So if you want, like one that I'm doing is 8 by 10, and that is terrific. I just take them up to my printer place and I bring my cardstock because I like to use the 120 pound, and I have them run off the digis, and then I bring them home. It's no biggie. So I'm going to show you how I did this card, which on Split Coast Stampers, if you look up Recessed Card by Beata, you will get, if you want to use it on normal cardstock, what I didn't like about it, if you're doing it as a card, and I'm just going to jump in, when you open this up, like if you have your, say you're going this way, and you have your photo in here, and you open it up, you have this bulk. And even if you cover it with paper, I really don't like that look. I don't, you know, I like recessed pictures because I do them, the 3D dry, dry emboss, but I don't like this personally. So I wanted to come up with something that would recess in its own space, in its own card space, like this. I hope you can see that. And then I put a little 1/4 inch lip on here that I scored, which I'm going to put double-sided tape on here for when I put my cardstock on before I embellish, and it fits absolutely perfect. So I'm going to show you how we do this recessed card like this. And if you want to know how to do it the other way, where it's an actual card that you open up like this, you can go on Split Coast Stampers, and I'll leave a link in my description bar when I upload this video for you. And you can do it as a card. But if you want to do what the style I'm doing, and I like to use the craft, and I'll tell you why. I am going to use tissue paper as my paper that actually goes on the whole thing. And I decided to use the Paper Stash Vellum. And it is absolute, it's the Wallflower Vellum. It goes with the papers, only it is, like I said, it's vellum, and it goes with the paper pack. And I simply adore this. So I'm going to use this as my background. And what better to see through something than cardstock that's craft. I love it. So let's get this underway. For the frame, I wanted to have a large recessed frame. So to get that, I took out, all you need to have is some kind of rectangles. Rectangle dies. It's the easy way. I know on Beata's video, she just traced it by measuring, and then she scored it. But that's too much work for me. So I have the Spellbinders Celebrations, and I took the, and it's, this one has the pierced, it's the pierced look, and I love that. But that's, I'll show you, well, actually, I should jump in and say this. I didn't cut this through with these. I measured with these. So let me get, I didn't want to measure with a ruler. I wanted to measure off of something, if that makes any sense. So the first thing you're going to need, if you want to do rectangles, you can do it with a ruler, you know, if you wanted an inch in. I know on Beata's card it was a small recessed window where I wanted to have large, so I grabbed my rectangles. And here's what you're going to need for that. I wrote it all out for you. A piece of heavy cardstock. Now, it measures 10 inches long by 6.5 inches deep. So you're going to cut it to that. And then I scored it at 4 3/4. So let me just get out my scoreboard here. My small one. I love this little thing. Just to show you, if you get a visual, I think it's much better. So you have this piece of cardstock, and you're going to score it at, put it at the 4 3/4, and you're going to score it again at 5. And what's nice about this, well, you're going to have to put some muscles in it, okay? So when you find your mark, I did this with the scoreboard on the Stampin' Up! Cutter. And if you're going to cut this board, I used the Fiskars, the large precision cutter, because it's just nice to cut hard cardstock with. But, you know, to each his own. So let's put this in here, and then everybody knows that I kind of do my own thing. I don't necessarily have to follow a plan, but I do want to make another one. So all you have to do is crease it like so. It'll kind of come into itself, and then pull it. Once you've done this, just pull it over. See, you can hear how heavy this is, can't you? So let's take this down. There we go. You can feel the fibers in that. And that's all you need. If you want to score it, you can. I don't want to break it up that much, just so that you have that nice 1/4 inch right here. And I'm hoping my lighting is much better, but we're having a really overcast day, and it doesn't matter if my curtains are open and my light bulb went. I mean, everything that could happen happened. So I'm working with 2 lights coming down off of here. Okay, and then I scored a 1/4 inch at the end. So you have your 10 inches, and then I took a 1/4 inch right here. Now this would probably be good. Let me do it on this side, because it is so thick that I might do it on this side, keeping this right to the board. Can be frustrating. As you see, I went a little off. It doesn't matter, you're not going to see it. That's the beauty of paper going over it, right? There. That made it a little better to fold. And then you can take your, let me get this back in here so I don't lose it. And I'm just going to set it aside for a second. I want to roll this mat up. There. Okay, so I'm going to take my bone folder, and I love using this bone folder. Oh man, I can't think of the name of it right now, but I will leave a link. It doesn't leave any marks, like, you know, shiny marks. And I'll leave a link where you can get that. I always do, because when I found this, it was like a lifesaver to the other bone folders, because I don't like any shiny marks. So there you have it. So when you close this, when we get the window done, it's going to recess in there like so, and then we'll put some double-sided runner, and that's it. Now we're going to work on the frame, and this is going to be the outside. I should show you this on my card here. This second piece, if you're going to do some cutting and you want to do them all at the same time, is 11 inches long by 6.5 inches, the same depth as your card, right? You're going to want it to match right here. And you're going to score it at I use 16ths on my scoreboard. It had 16ths because like I said, I used the Stampin' Up! Score tool. The cutting blade, it has a score tool to run down. It was quick while I was cutting. And so I went into 2 10/16, which is 5/8 if you're working in eighths, and 2 14/16, so that is 7/8. So however you want to score, you want a 1/4 inch gusset right here, and then you just, I should show you, you just slide it along. This is how I did it on the scoreboard. I love to see things, so I'm going to show you how I did it here. I just took my scoring tool and I came in like this, and I scored it right here so it was at the 8-inch mark. Okay, going across. Then I just slid it back to 8 1/4 and scored it. Then I came up like this and I scored it at 2, as you can see right here, hopefully 2 10/16, and then I slid it back at 2 14/16. I want a 1/4 inch gusset on each side. And why, you ask? I'm going to show you. when this sits in here, I want this to fold like this. Okay? And it really will fold perfectly, because I'll show you what I'm going to do here. Tell you what I'm going to do. I took that gate, and we will cut this down so I can show you how I did it on these measurements if you want to do the same measurements. I took a gate and I took a brad. I punched a hole in the wooden gate with my small crocodile on the tiny hole, which is 1/8 of an inch, still in there. And I put a dial in here, a clock hand in my stash, so that it goes up and down. And on this, if you get these same gates, there are 6 gates, like 6 posts, I should say, and then you cut it off. And then you just put your brad here so that this has movement, right, to close the gate. And if you want to cut this off, you can cut it off too, but I think it's kind of cute. And then I'm going to grade this out, because on a farm and that, you never see pure white unless somebody's painting it 24/7. It has an age to it, and I like to see the age. I don't like to see it pure white, so I will age it with my Distress inks. So I picked out of my stash a clip that I want to set here. Let me just show you. It's going to get glue gun in shortly right onto here, because it has a little lever. Can you see that? And this is going to come like this, and it's going to come down, and boink, it's going to sit right in that lip. Let me get it right up there for you. Okay? And then to open up the gate, you're just, well, that's not glued down yet. This one is. I just stuck some glue on the back to hold my brad openings secure. And you can't see that once I put it down. I'll have something behind it there so it'll look good. So that's, and the gates are going to go on this piece. That's why this lip is so important. The one gate is going to sit on here, like so, on the edge. And then this gate, which is ready to go, will sit on the lip on this side. And then it will be able to open with the door like this. Okay? So I think that's kind of cute, and I'll probably show you how to, I'm going to do this on the next video, because we do want to go ahead and cut this out. But that is my reasoning for this. So when you put it inside here with the gates on there, you're obviously going to need a little bit of space between the actual gusset. It is going to lean right up against the gusset here. It's going to lean right up against the gusset there. And believe you me, it closes perfectly. I measured it out, and I'll show you. It's going to look beautiful when I get this on there. It's just because it's not folding properly here. But when it does, it closes perfectly. And then I'm going to have a latch on here as well. So you're going to have the gate opening and the latch opening for the front of your card. And this is going to be, I'm going to have it cut out with a punch. So it's really pretty on the outside once the paper's on it, so both of them get punched out at the same time. Okay? And you can rewind this 11 inches by 6.5 inches, scored at 8 inches and 8 1/4, and then slide it over to the right and do 2 10/16 and 2 14/16 if you're using 16th inch measurements, and you have got this down. This side should overlap because of the gate. When you get that in there, it will be perfectly shut if you go by my measurements, okay? Now, let's work on the actual, so let me just show you here. That way, when you use your die, all you have to do is cut out the size that you used for the inside. See how that's inside there? So you just use this die and cut it out. That's what I did. Now, because it has the dots, you know, it has the sewing thing here, which is hard to see on here. When you cut it with the next rectangle, right, it's going to be a bit larger. So if you want, you can cut it right on the holes across here, and then it'll be perfectly recessed. But what I'm going to do is I like to tuck it so that I can see those dots. See how cute that looks? And then when you have your papers measured on the outside, simple, easy peasy, because you just cut to size. And then you cut to size on here for your papers, and then you just embellish your brains off. Just have a good time. So, and then, I was going to show you this. And then your piece sits right down inside there, and it looks awesome because you have that dry embossing here, and I'm going to do this flower too, and everything fits super, super snug, which I like. I am a fuss budget to details, but that's okay. You know, we all have our crafting issues. Let me put it like that. Okay. I want to get the right piece. I don't want to be cutting something I shouldn't be cutting here. All right, so to get this, just take out your piece that measures 10 by 6.5. Take the large rectangle here, and this is what I did. I eyeballed it, to tell you the truth. I went like this and went around, and then I took a pencil, which I laid out here so I had it ready. Of course, it's not here. Let me grab another pencil. There we go. And you're going to just measure the inside of whatever size hole you want for a window frame, for a frame. So I chose this one. So let me put this down like this because I can get a better measurement here so it's not crooked. Like so. And you can get a ruler and measure it, but you know what? You don't see it when all the paper and the embellishments go on there. You're not going to see a thing. So what I did, so I didn't have to use a ruler and I didn't have to measure. Just go around it with your pencil because you can erase it. There we go. And that looks perfect to me. And grab the next size down, which should measure exactly where you just measured the inside of that last one, because they all come in 1/4 inch, right? And then draw this one out. Hope you can see it with my hand there. Whoop, 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 whoop. There. And then you have your frame. Wasn't that easy? And then the only time you need these again is for there we go. Is for cutting out the papers for the inside. And I will leave a link where you can buy these. As a Canadian, right now it's so difficult because the dollar is at 30%. You know, it's like throwing 30 cents. Every dollar you have, just throw 30 cents in the garbage because you only get 70 cents US, and that is difficult to swallow. All right, so you're going to take a ruler, a good ruler. I like this one with the cork on the bottom because it holds it firm for me. Then you're going to roll back your Ranger mat, put that under there, and then you're going to take your way back here, excuse me, sorry for my arm. Okay, you're going to take your cutter and you're going to measure from point to point on the outside score that you made. So you're going to measure Well, let me see, how did I do that first? Did I? Yes, okay, I'm going to cut it. I can't remember what I did. Hold it straight to your ruler. Come right down to the point. Then do the exact same on the other side. I'm going to move this so I don't cut myself. And cut it where I'm comfortable. Corner to corner on the outside of the measurements that you made. And then your X-Acto knife. However, you might have to make 2 runs. And there you have it. And then I have a piece of foam that I stick this in so I don't go to grab it. And, So now we're going to have to score. I found an easy way to do the scoring, especially on cardboard, because it's hard to find the measurements here, right? So what I did is I lined it up on the top, okay, and then I kind of eyeballed where the line is here with my ruler and see if it hit the hole, which would be, or the groove, right, for scoring. So I think that's it there. And I held my ruler up like this, and I took my score, my stylus here that goes with this, and I don't move the ruler. I find that groove, and I hold the ruler there. Because even if it's not inside that groove perfectly, it sits up far enough that you are going to get a score. Okay? So then you're going to come around, and this is my tip of the day, because people try to find it, and it's so aggravating to come up here and try to find it. Let your ruler guide it. Okay? So if your ruler's inside the groove, up here, like if you see the ruler in there, you're pretty set. So all you have to do is take it, hold it, and it goes right inside the groove. Like that. And you're not frustrated. Okay? So let the ruler do the work. Anywhere you want, just put that ruler in the groove, line it up with your paper, and it should be pretty right on. Like that. Is that in the middle? Move it over till it is. There we go. See how easy that is? And then you're going to follow the same procedure. Where am I here? Right here. So I'm going to line it up with one of these grooves, the top, and it will make sense once you start doing it, honestly. There we go. There. And then just move it over and start doing it again. This is the inside edge. I should have done that all the way across, but oh well. There we go. No worries. And then just set it up to where the ruler follows the guide, and just make sure you don't go all the way across. You stop on the line.